Hey, Mr. Big Wig movie producer. Stephen King just came out with a new novel I think it'd make for a really good movie.
Hey, yeah? What's it about?
Well, it's called Needful Things, and it's about a storefront that sells you your deepest desire.
Alright, I've heard enough. You make a really good offer, kid. But, I'm gonna make a movie on 3 conditions, okay? First one, you gotta have a turkey farm, alright? People want turkey farmers in movies, okay? They make money. You gotta give the people what they want. Number 2, you said there's a storefront, right? What if we turn the storefront into a 2-story house, okay? It's brilliant, okay? Finally, my third one. I gotta make the people act like they're not real people, say things that don't make any sense. That's what the kids want, okay? They don't like real people. Alright. Great meeting. I gotta smoke some cocaine. What is going on, guys? My name is Luke Sitnauer from Casual Experts, and this video is about Needful Things. A really cool book and a really weird movie. So, before we jump into it, I just want to say that I will be avoiding major spoilers, but I'll be talking about some of the things throughout the book and the movie. So if you want to go in completely blind, just skip it. Skip the whole video. And just, my completely 100% spoiler for your review is the book is incredibly dope, the movie's weird. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to talk about the book first, and then I'll move into the movie a little bit later. And yeah, cool stuff. Oh, hey, wait, before I get started, I just want to say my podcast, Casuals Only, is doing looking at horror movies throughout the entire month of October. 5 horror movies. And so if you're into that, go check out the podcast. The link is in the description below. Cool stuff. So anyway, Needful Things. Really, really cool book. I bought it and I didn't realize how good it was going to be. So it's definitely my top 5 Stephen King books for sure. But yeah, so basically I described it a little bit in the sketch at the beginning of the video, but essentially it's a small store that opens up in a small town in New England, and the guy who owns it, Leland Gaunt, he will sell you your deepest desire for cheap monetarily, but then you also have to pull a prank on somebody, and as you can probably imagine, things go downhill very quickly from there. Yeah, so the book's actually really good. I said that already. But I think let's talk about some of the characters, some of the actors in the movie. I mentioned this in the sketch, but for some reason, one of the characters is randomly turned into a turkey. I thought we stopped recording for a second. I got upset. But it looks like we're still recording. One of the characters is randomly turned into a turkey farmer. And that's like the big example, but a lot of the characters are randomly, their occupations are changed, and so that changes the situations and it changes the events, and because the characters have different jobs, and so it changes. It doesn't seem like it changes much, but it really does, because if you turn, I think she was a waitress in the book, and she just lives in regular suburbia, but now she was a turkey farmer out in the middle of Timbuktu. It doesn't really make sense, like, spatially, because we don't know where she lives in relation to the rest of the town. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, a lot of occupations were changed, which is really weird. And I also mentioned in the sketch that, so I don't know if you've ever been to like a small town storefront where there's a bunch of stores. They're kind of like skinny stores, but they're like 2 or 3 stories tall. Normally the stores are on the sidewalk, and up above are the apartments, sometimes where the owners of the stores live. And so I think that's what the case is in the book. Leland Gaunt runs the store on the main floor, and he lives up on the 2nd floor. But for some weird reason, in the movie, it's just a regular house. That Needful Things is just turned into a regular house. It's so weird. I don't understand. I don't even think that's legal with like zoning laws and stuff. You can't just turn a house into a store. But like, you open the door and there's just stairs right up to the second story, and there's like different rooms. It's so weird. It looks like a 1940s cottage turned into a store. Doesn't make any sense at all. And then lastly, like I mentioned in the sketch, the characters are they're not real people. It just doesn't... The way they interact with each other, the things that they say, it just doesn't seem realistic. But like I mentioned earlier, I don't think this is due. Okay. Part of this is due to the occupational change. Part of it is due just to changes in general that the movie made. Again, I'm not against changes from movies to books, as long as the movies are still good. You can completely change the book. I don't really care. Take Blade Runner, for instance. The book is amazing. The movie's amazing. It's fine. I don't really care. As long as both things are good, it's fine. Anyway, so they changed things, and they changed a lot of things. I'm not going to mention what they changed. There's one scene in particular that really grinds my gears, makes me really upset that they changed, but they try to play it the same as it's played in the book, but they change it so it doesn't have the same weight. And so yeah, they change things, and they don't make as much sense, and they don't have as much weight, but then the movie borrows some of I don't want to say like epic lines, but there's like lines that have a lot of weight, carry a lot of weight and significance in the novel, but they use those same lines in the movie, but because they're in different circumstances, they don't have the same weight to it. And so, it just doesn't work. So, that's the whole movie thing. Let's talk about the book for a little bit. So, yeah, this book's really cool. I remember reading it, and like, man, this would make for a really cool movie, but then after watching the movie, I'm thinking it would probably work better as a 10-part miniseries. I think Stephen King's work really shines on that format. Hang on. I just passed it. This book has really, really phenomenal art in it. I don't know who did it. Is there like an acknowledgement in the front of the book? Who did the art? Limiting the rights, copyrights, I guess not. It doesn't say it. It might say it, but I don't want to spend the whole video just flipping through a book. You didn't click this video for that. It probably says it somewhere, but I don't have the time to look through it. Anyway, the art in this book is fantastic. Obviously, probably not in every print of the book. I'm assuming this is... when was this book printed? It's hardcover. The book came out in '93, so I'm assuming it was probably one of the original prints. Here's another really awesome piece of art. It's double pages. Really dope. Stephen King things. When was this book printed? 1991. So this might be... Oh, the illustration was by Bill Russell. So kudos to Bill Russell for those really cool art. Yeah, book published in 1991. So I'm assuming this is probably one of those early copies because, I don't know why I'm assuming that, but I guess, I don't know. It's hardcover, it's illustrated, so, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's really, really cool. I think that if it were, I really think it needs to get adapted again because it's such a cool book, and the movie was so bizarre. I think the movie came out in '93, I don't remember. But if they turn it to another movie, they would have to cut a lot of stuff because there is a lot of like secondary characters, and it's important that you know that, and you know kind of the different relationships between the characters in the town, because like people pull pranks on each other, and then it escalates really quickly. And I think, and like the first like I'd say half or third of the book is really focusing on the different characters and their relationships with each other. Like for instance, there's a classic Baptist minister and a Catholic priest that are, classic rivalry. They're going at each other. Anyway, they're going at each other. That's what I meant by this. They're not having extramarital relationships. Anyway, this could mean a lot of things. So I don't know, whatever. Yeah, so if you make it into a movie, you have to cut a lot of that stuff, but at the same time, you have to be careful what you cut, because if you cut too much, um, it's just turn out to be another really weird movie. But if you don't cut enough, it's going to be like 3.5 hours long. So that's why I think it would work better in a 10 episode format, because then you could really explore the different relationships between all the characters. Yeah, but it would need a budget, because the end of the book is really really wild. And there's some crazy stuff that I would really like to see done in like with good special effects and stuff. But anyway, yeah, I like to compare this book to like Hallmark horror, because it's small town and it's focused on a lot of the relationships and stuff. So if the Hallmark Channel wants to produce a Stephen King story, Beautiful Things is the one, definitely. I think that's everything. Well, I'll talk about one more thing. The casting in the movie is really, really weird. Especially, well, I'll just talk about the sheriff. Sheriff Alan Pangborn. As far as I know, he was casted 3 times. He was portrayed 3 times with 3 different characters. 3 different actors. Once in The Dark Half by Michael Rooker. He was in the Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know who did it, who the guy was in this movie, but there was also one in Castle Rock. And Alan Pangborn is one of the characters that shows up a lot in different Stephen King novels, so there's going to be different... every time different books are adapted, he probably is going to be recasted. And out of those 3, I'm not really a fan of any of those portrayals. I just don't think that they really get Alan. They don't really get the character. I guess the closest would be Michael Rooker, but still, I don't really vibe with any of those guys. Because in the book, he's really cool. I've only read this one book about with Alan in it. In fact, I think it's because it says it's the last Castle Rock story. If you don't know if you can read that, I think this is the only novel of Stephen King's that I read that took place in Castle Rock. I might have read a novella or a short story. I don't remember. But yeah. So like, I'm not gonna get into it now, but most of his books are connected. So Castle Rock, Derry, Maine, all these different towns, they show up in different stories. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so if you're into a very good, very non-conventional horror novel, definitely check out Needful Things. But if you're into really, really weird horror movie, check out Needful Things. Yeah, so there's a scene, right before I'm going to close, there's a scene in Needful Things where 2 women are in a death match with meat cleavers, and it's set to opera music. So if that's your thing, definitely check out Needful Things for sure. Until next time, peace out.